But oh, men,
Grand Rising, The Rising Show, Grand Rising, The Rising Show. Did you all think that we were playing when we said we were going to be out here 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time to do our live show? Live. Yes, you don't have to ask if it's premiered or live. It's live. And my throat was good all weekend, right? But that's good, though. That shows I'm excited.
You're excited?
Good morning. Good Grand Rising, and Priscilla G. How are you doing this morning?
Grand Rising, Brother Lance. I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've made my runs and got so much done and accomplished, and I feel good. And I made a goal this week, and we're going to stick through with it, And I just want to say with these particular shows that we do, your Rising Show, we will always start out with a topic or something that's happening in the news, and then we'll just kind of go off the deep end and just with surgical precision going on the topic. So a lot of folks will say, well, you talked about this is on the thumbnail or the banner, but you're talking about something else. Well, if you catch it early, you'll see how we started out the show. So that's kind of how we do it and whatnot. We're not going to be so rigid unless it's like an or something where it's a specific topic that we stay there.
Right.
But we had fun last night with Beatrice Noel and her pink bra episode, People seem to have loved it. So
they did. I mean, I saw the numbers and I saw the comments. Oh my God.
I know. So we're gonna do it that way. It's a lot easier to do it this way, and you record our shows and put it up and whatnot. But people want the interaction, and that's what we're gonna give them. We're gonna have that fun right along with that.
That's right. That's
very important. Like we used to do it a lot more, but we kind of got out of that because of the fear of power outages when you're in certain parts of Ghana. But that may happen, it may not.
That's right. It may not happen, but you just don't know.
You can't live in fear. You can't live in fear.
That's right.
And so another week or so, I have something to take care of that, so that just never happens again. And we'll just move on that way. So
that's right. Yes, indeed. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising to all who was entered already. We're working this thing this morning, and I'll be back and forth. I'm really Brother Lance's assistant this morning. I'm truly.
No, I'm your assistant. I'm your bucket boy, right? Peace, Joseph.
Hi, Joseph. I was your bucket girl last night.
Yeah, you had a lot of bizarre things going on, and things getting pulled out and sucked on, and wow, it was just a different kind of show.
And no, and you falling off the chat. I mean, the just what was going on.
What was it about?
I don't know. I don't know.
Understand it.
And then I went back.
Conspiracy or something?
Somebody didn't like the fun that was being had.
I know, right? We were having too much fun. That's what it was.
Yes. And then I went back and I was listening. I went back and I was listening to the show. Granted, I fell asleep through half of it because it was damn near 3 hours, right? So, but I woke up towards the end. And of course, poor Beatrice. I'm trying to figure out how to get into the background so I can help you. And I'm telling her, keep talking, just keep talking.
See, I wasn't aware of what was going on because of me being shut off like that.
I know. I was like, keep talking, sis. I'm trying to see what I can do here. And poor thing, she really had to go. So I was like, just go ahead. And then by the time she cut off, I was able to, a couple seconds later, get there and end the show, but it was funny. I was like, keep talking. And she's like, okay. What do you want me to say?
I know, right? And she was already through, basically. So
mhm.
that was a stretch. The timing was bad timing, but it was perfect timing for a disaster.
Yeah, yes,
You know?
indeed, yes. But anyways, we had gotten through the most of it, so that was okay.
Yeah, that's the main part.
That was the main part. Yes, yes.
Nothing could stop it up to that point, you know?
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Yes, indeed. So where's
Yes.
everyone? Today is, it's
I know, right?
Monday. It's a rising show.
But that's the way it is. So it's like, yeah, you never do it live. We want to be there. And they, but that's the way it's going to be. We're just going to keep the habit up and nothing's going to stop that. So
Good.
Be good.
So tell us, Mr. Scurv, you're my guest. What are we talking about here now? Freedom of speech, censorship, cannot speak, and living your truth.
Well, this has been not just a hot topic recently, but it's something I've always spoken about over time. And I said it's going to come crashing down on us now, because with the world, with the US government, with the powers that be, it's all about control. And when we look at some of these manufactured celebrities, I'm not going to knock the brothers who are rappers or these entertainers, but basically, they have their little gimmicks, they have their little 15 minutes of fame, and then they're gone.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. So I'm not putting them down. That's just the way that industry works. So that being said, they use as tools, and, really and truly, how stupid can you be to get up in front of a crowd and say things against a certain group of people when you know the game right now? So to me, it's like part of a script. I'm not buying it. It's not like, oh, he won. Now, okay, let me just read this off so people know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to pull this from WAGMTV.com. I always go and search what's trending and what's out there. Let me just let off a little cough, and then I'll be on my way here. Here it is. The baby booted from Lollapalooza after homophobic comments. And rapper DaBaby was cut Sunday from Lollapalooza's closing lineup following crude and homophobic remarks he made last week at a Miami area music festival. The Grammy-nominated artist, whose name is Jonathan Kirk, had been scheduled as a closing act on the final night of the 4-day music festival in downtown Chicago. Lollapalooza organizers tweeted Sunday that rapper Young Thug would perform at 9 p.m. instead. Lollapalooza was founded on diversity, inclusivity, respect, and love, organizers wrote. With that in mind, DaBaby will no longer be performing at Grant Park tonight. Festival organizers didn't immediately reply to a request for a comment. In recent days, artists including Madonna, Questlove, and Elton John have denounced remarks DaBaby made during a performance last Sunday at Miami's Rolling Loud Festival. While on stage, the rapper called out members of the LGBTQ community and people with HIV and AIDS using crude language. He asked attendees who weren't gay men or people affected by AIDS or HIV to raise their cell phone flashlights. And he incorrectly said the disease would make you die in 2 or 3 weeks. DaBaby's representatives didn't immediately reply to emails seeking comment. A person who answered the phone Sunday at his label, South Coast Music Group, and did not give his name, said no comment. The North Carolina rapper's song Rockstar was one of the biggest hits of 2020 and was nominated for a Grammy Award for Record of the Year. And that's the end of that article. And you'll find other articles that pretty much say the same thing. But that's the bottom line. Like, okay, right. That was kind of ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go down.
Yeah.
You get AIDS, you die in 2 weeks. I mean, for him to say that.
Yeah.
So when you're a performer that your words go out there. So why would you say something like that when you know that the LGBTQ police, the censorship police, and the people who want to take away freedom of speech, and I'm not saying it's them who want to take away freedom of speech, but it's a concerted effort here now, especially when you're a black man, you're gonna go out there and say something so stupid, and you're a performer, and you know there's endorsements, you know that you in a bigger company, you know you represent. So it's like, why are you committing career suicide by doing something like this? I mean, that's really stupid. That's like saying, okay, I'm selling drugs on the corner, and come on, crackheads, I put up sign. I got crack over here, I got a meth over here, crystal meth over here, and cops are going by.
Right, exactly.
I mean, how stupid can you be? Right now, one should be able to speak their mind, but he's using somebody else's platform, as far as a concert 2 weeks ago when he spoke, to say something like that.
Well, is he really speaking his mind, or just being ignorant, like you just said? I mean, he didn't really.
Ignorant mind.
Yes, exactly. Oh, excuse me. Hang on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
You're catching a cold.
No, I'm not.
Over the Atlantic, so far away from him, giving you the flu that I
had. No, thank goodness, no close proximity here. Yeah, he's. I saw some, snippets because, as you know, Brother Lance, I don't follow these people. You know what I'm saying? They're not really, my genre of music and so on and so forth. So I don't really follow them to that degree. But I am on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on those things. So in passing, I'll see little bits of, what's going on. And of course, I saw little speeches and videos and so on. So I'm looking at it, and you have people saying, real men, take care of their family, and real men have babies, and this and that, and they showed images of him with his children, and then of course you have the ones who support him, and we stand with what's his name?
The baby.
The baby, yeah.
B-A-B-Y, the baby.
Yeah, we stand with him. And so, exactly, there you have it. We stand with him, and this and that and that. So I saw it, I grazed past it, I went on about my business. But having you read this and hearing, what he said, I mean, come on. You're in a venue that clearly has a lot of those people there. They're your supporters. They're your fans. They're part of your fan base. Why would you say something like that? Don't you care? Have you made enough money that you can now, step away from the industry? Have you paid back all your loans? Have you paid back all your, the advances that they've given you? I mean, come on.
Yeah, but that's what I don't understand. How can you have, I won't even say an unguarded moment. To me, some people, and again, I'm not favoring anybody over anybody. I'm just saying, okay, because we're going to go on that side too. All I'm saying, how stupid can you be? You know how hard it is to get in position in this manufactured music industry. It's not real. It's a game.
Right.
You got to play the game. You got to be shifty here, and you got to kiss behind there. You got to shake hands with people you may not want to shake hands with. You got to make these deals, and whatever else goes on behind closed doors, you get in position and you throw it all away like this.
Exactly.
Right? Now, I'm not saying that you have to be afraid to speak your mind, but that's not the place to do it, especially when the people who support him say, well, real men take care of their kids. And they have pictures of him with his child or children. I never saw it, but whatever it may be. So, okay, I'm with you on that. But if real men take care of their kids, real men are supposed to be smart enough to play the game to continue to take care of your children.
Yes.
The main objective here is to get that money. We know you're in a wicked industry. Get as much money as you can. Get yourself out there as much as you can. Get your name out there as much as you can. Use their system for your benefit, for your family's benefit. Once your name is out there more, you can spin off and do some movies or write some books or make appearances and find your niche, because you're not going to remain famous in this man's system for so long.
Exactly. Exactly.
So knowing that and knowing that it's a limited shelf life that you have, come on now. I mean, you're a black man and you're a rapper and your name The Baby. Do you think you're going to be 50 and 60 years old, being welcome on the show? Yes, we're going to welcome The Baby. And he comes out with a walking stick or a cane. This is not a thing that's going to last forever. Even I'm surprised it wasn't Lil the Baby or Lil Baby or whatever.
Oh
That's
my
yours.
gosh, you know,
So now you're going to speak out against something like this, right? And you got Madonna and you got Elton
oh
John,
my gosh,
people
of
who are
course.
certified all up in the system and got connections that you could never get right now. You're coming into this thing. Madonna, could you imagine? Look what she's done in her books and in her videos. Could you imagine what she's done behind closed doors? We know Elton John. I mean, Elton John been out there singing before I had my first orgasm. So he been around a long time. You know what I mean? So yeah, now he's a switch hitter, but basically a gay man.
Right,
So people who are rooted in that, when they speak out against you, that's a wrap. So why would you sabotage yourself when you know you're around these people and you're going to say something like that, especially when they have their little tearjerker AIDS benefits and Elton John and these people crying when they have their concerts for the AIDS thing, and again, AIDS is affecting us just about more than anybody else as a community, right?
Exactly.
Take away the gay thing. Just AIDS itself has scared so many people. I mean, you could be a straight man and mess with a woman who had a boyfriend who was locked up in jail, switch hitting. She got it. Now you got it.
Now you got it.
It used to have the stigma on it years ago where, this is just a gay thing. Because, I mean, in my mind, when it first came out, that's what it was anyway in the early 80s.
Exactly. That's all it was.
You walk around in Greenwich Village and you see these guys with the death face. And back then it seemed like when you caught it, like weeks after you were dead.
That
I
was
knew
it.
some of these people, but you saw so many people with the skull face. And in bodybuilding, they call it the death face. Like right before competition, you're so lean and so sucked in from such a strict diet. Your face looks like it's gonna die, but your body is full and strong. So this thing called the death face, you didn't have to know these gay dudes in the village. You look at them, you're like, oh man, look at his face sunken in. You can see the veins all up in the head, the neck, and the sunken in eyes and stuff like that. So because of the medications and stuff, it's extended things. But all I'm saying is a shrewd, strategic business move. Why would you come out and say stuff like that?
Listen,
right now. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think the moment the full sentence came out of his mouth, he regretted it. It's like you say, the minute that first leg comes off the bridge, when you're going to jump off.
God, pretense of a grown man with that name. Why do you have to be the baby? Why can't you have why do these rappers got to have little key names,
infantile names?
You're a grown man with kids. You have the babies, but you're a grown man. I'm just saying overall with that. Now, I'm not saying that because you're in the music industry, you're supposed to not speak your mind. If he said, listen, my whole look, maybe I wouldn't last long either. I wouldn't be that stupid. There's a time and place for everything.
Exactly. Listen, Brother Lance, we live in a day, time, and culture, right? Where you just have to recognize now whether you are entitled to speak your truth or not speak your truth. The only time that you can speak your truth and not be in fear of reprisal is when you live on your own property. You do not rely on anyone. You're self-sufficient to the max. Okay? Let's be real. You're totally self-sufficient. You don't have to ask for nothing from no one, expect nothing from anyone. Okay?
That's true.
Speak your truth all you want, especially when it's controversial like that, when you're dealing with other people's dispensation or their particular lifestyles and whatever the case may be. It's not possible to do that anymore. Okay? As long as you're relying on somebody to put food in your mouth and to help you keep a roof over your head, no.
That's true.
It's not fair. It's being sensible. It's being prudent. It's it's just making sure that you're always, you know, you're always getting the bag, as they say, or you're always able to make the bag. Now, on the other hand, people might say, well, you're being a phony, or, you're walking around constipated because you can't speak, what's on your mind. That may very well be true. That may very well be true. But speak it before you really start to get popular. This way,
Yeah.
if you become popular, you're popular on the people who
Built
share
in.
the same values as you.
That's
Right.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to speak it, but speak it so that you know who's going to be your following,
That's
you
right.
know. Right. I mean, it's like your platform. You're not afraid to say what's on your mind. And
I've been speaking this way.
you've been speaking this way. So anyone who comes on here, if that happens to be their particular lifestyle, um, and they still choose to follow you and comment and what have you, they understand your perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not telling them go change how you live. You're just saying, look, I don't vibe or I don't get down with, I
Right.
can't condone it. I don't
Right.
hate you, but I can't condone your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
you know people have to know how to agree to disagree. You don't agree with me, I don't agree with you. But you know what? As a person, as an individual, I like you, I love you, whatever, we can flow. That's
Well,
it.
yeah. See, but even below that, even more so, they're gonna always, because they know traditionally in the black community, even though there are black gays, gay men, black lesbians, and all the other categories in between, they, as straight black men, are not allowed to even sniff at or even hint at us not agreeing or being down with that. We are not allowed, because at the end of the day, straight black manhood is unacceptable. And we have to know that.
Exactly.
We have to know that. So he's a straight black male, but he's a stupid straight black male,
Mm-hmm.
because he went and said this thing. He's supposed to be getting their money. This is a game. Okay, all around me. But guess what? I'm not with this stuff, but I'm going to get your money. And I'm going to advance myself. And I'm going
Yeah.
to start some businesses. And I'm going to take care of my family for generations to come. This is a bank robbery here. And I'm going to do it right up under your nose. You're not going to emasculate me. You see, because now, in contrast, isn't it funny how this will happen in contrast with Lil Nas X's video,
Yes.
Baby? So you
Yes.
got
Yes.
Baby, and now
Mm-hmm.
you got Industry Baby.
Mm-hmm.
So Dub Baby is on the outskirts now, on the outside, because
Mm-hmm.
what he said against the LGBT community,
Mm-hmm.
and Industry Baby is graphically showing things.
Mm-hmm.
The timing is impeccable. So it's almost like they're saying, we can show all our stuff
Yeah.
and we can live our truth per se, but he said with words with no visuals, which, okay, I said what he said. I said that he said what he said in a bad time way, in a foolish way, but let's flip it on the other side.
Mm.
Were there visuals with what he said?
No.
No. Well, but he could be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
He said it the one time, but it could be corrected. If he
Exactly.
was that ignorant, now he must not know. He must not really think you die after 2 or 3 weeks. But in contrast to Lil Nas X in the prison, having sex, naked dudes rolling around, these are visuals designed to go deeper. And now, because of the baby's comments, we're muzzled more now.
Right.
You can't say this about. Look, to me, it was all orchestrated. Somewhere behind, they may take him off of that. That was his whole purpose. They let these rappers get up there as tools, and then they use you as they need you.
Right. Right.
And he's probably paid off. Let's just get with the conspiracy theory. He's probably paid off, laughing somewhere, and they okay, good little nigga, good little baby.
Indeed.
You serve your
Indeed.
purpose. You said something really crazy about the LGBT community. So now the focus is on you now, black men, to muzzle your mouths while we push something that's against your image. It's too perfectly timed.
It is. You're right. You're
Look
absolutely
at it.
right.
A rapper and a rapper. right? Now this Lil Nas X,
Little Nas and Little Baby. Little
yeah,
Nas,
Lil
Little
Baby,
Baby.
yeah,
Can you
yeah. So
imagine?
even Lil Nas, it's Lil Nas, but they don't call him no baby.
No.
So this to me is manufactured.
Now let me ask this question. Does the industry give you your name, or do you create your own name? Do you decide
If you
that?
create your own name, but who knows? You get to a certain point, names can be changed around. But why? But you know, these guys who are in this
Or the
modern
baby, rather, not Little Baby, the baby. Yeah.
the baby. Come on, man. Look,
Say the
baby.
man. Why didn't you call yourself the man?
Exactly. Why don't we have some masculine sounding names, empowering sounding names?
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, even the photo in the banner.
Look at that. Look at what it.
That's a
look at that.
jailhouse pose, man. Why would you just, I mean, okay, I'm not going to criticize everything about the man, but image is very important. If I ever got to a point of notoriety outside of being underground on the internet, do you think I'd represent my people by sitting there? LanceScurv is being honored on some show, and I'm gonna sit here and get down like that? You know what that is? Look at that. It's a daggone jailhouse pose, man.
Is it now?
You're squatting down and your boys are over you, and you got the glasses on, man. What is that? Look at that. Look at that. This is. I'm telling you, this is orchestrated right along with Lil Nas X, and for him to say this.
Right.
Now we come down on people who are saying things because they know the powers that be know there's going to be outrage on that video. So they had him say what he said so foolishly and so foolish and so obvious that even I would agree. Like, yo, man, how you going to be in the music industry and you know half the people behind the scenes and the ones you're signing contracts with, they're with that butthole stuff.
Exactly.
Around and say something like this.
Exactly.
He's a pawn, and he's a willing pawn. And if you ask me, I don't know if we'll ever find out one day. But he was paid off to say what he said and to make that little bit of outrage in contrast to Lil Nas X with that video. So we can't say anything now.
True. Or did they want him to do something contrary to how he really feels? And he decided, you know what, I'm gonna if I'm going out, if I can't do what I do how I want to do or be how I want to be, and I have to exit this platform, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say what I want to say and then be done with it. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe maybe they wanted him to be like a Lil Nas X or do something ridiculous, and it's like, hell no.
Well, see, no, you got a point there. And that's a strong possibility, but I don't think so. Because okay, if they wanted him to be a Lil Nas X, who is the baby? I didn't know who he was until now.
I didn't either. I'd never heard
he
of
was
him.
nominated for some award, right? But I mean, he's not that big of an influence over
yet.
People.
He's not going to be in there.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, some little Instagram folks, some little teeny boppers. Yeah, the baby. How far are these guys going? Look at him. Okay, if he took off that gold lace looking, what is
leopard?
If he took that off, if he took the hat off, if he took the glasses off, if he stood upright and walked past you in the street,
wouldn't know him.
Wouldn't know who he is.
Would
With
not
all
know
the stuff
him.
that he has on now, I don't know who he is.
Right.
So he's disposable to them. You got to understand, in this industry, you're disposable. You may have this, they put the money behind you and promote you and put your name out there. And we who are gullible, oh, he's a star. Oh, he made it. You can make anybody a star in their world. But you got to be willing down the line to be used as a tool when they need you to be used. And so, like I said, I just think that he's a tool. He got all a little bit of fame that he got just for this moment. So he can go out there and say something so stupid. Look, did he ever say stuff like this again before?
Not that we've heard.
Awards and everything and rubbing, just rubbing shoulders with all these people. You know, there's all kind of homosexuals in this game, the music game. You know what I mean? Who knows what maybe even he had to do to get into position.
That's right.
Even though he's claiming to be a street girl. I'm not saying he's a closeted homosexual, but some of these guys like, well, listen, either I do this or I get a regular job. There's so many other guys out here I know that's trying to get into this rap game and get to this level. All right, Mr. Producer. All right, Mr. Powers that be. Go ahead. I'll let you suck it. Go ahead. I don't like this man. This man got his mouth on my penis. Oh man, but I'm gonna be famous though. I'm doing this for my kids though. I'm not saying I'm thinking like that. I'm just saying that look, there's a lot of people who will bend themselves when it comes time for the fame and all of this stuff that they can see, and they can't live with themselves. And maybe that's one of the things that he's going through.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it's not like back in the day that if you did your stuff and you were good, you got there and the people got behind you. Look at rap in the early 80s when it was just so organic. You did it because you loved it. These guys got to play in certain venues and do certain things. And for the fun of it, the camaraderie, your crew, your neighborhood, the girls around the neighborhood who liked you, all this different stuff. And that was it. You got a couple dollars. You were so happy to get that. Hey, man, we made $300-$400 that night each. See? So now, you know, when they saw, and they thought it was going to die. This nigga rap business, this stuff is not going to last. This breakdance, and all this stuff. And now the kids all over the world, white kids all over the world can't get enough of it. All through Russia, all through Asia, Japan, selling out. Concerts, even second-rate rappers go to Japan and they're stars. Yes. They go out to the UK. Yes. Anything Black, American, and New York. Now it's all about America, right? But before, you're from New York City, and you a rapper?
Yeah, man, big time.
You don't have to be no rapper, man. If I travel anywhere and I'm from New York City and from that era, I got props just because of that.
Star. That's
exactly.
That's it.
Your accent. And that period you came through. And it is an honor to have been coming up in that time and have those influences. That's just the way it is.
True.
You know, but the bottom line is that we don't know much about him, but like I said, the timing is impeccable. Lil Nas X comes out with this video and he says some foolish things that are really over the top.
I think it's unfair, though. It's grossly unfair that you can have, as we spoke about on the show last night, you can have somebody like that who initially, as we said, started out really and truly influencing children. You see where it's going, though, right? Let's grab the children, you know. So he comes out, you know, and he's doing this thing, and you have schools and teachers, and you see auditoriums filled with, you know, because he would perform at certain elementary schools, not junior high school, not middle school, but elementary school. You understand? Where you have the kids from 1 to 5th grade, right? And he's up there on the stage and he's doing his little Old Town whatever dance, and the kids are in the audience and they're doing their thing and they're dancing and they're happy as all hell. You know, Little Nas, oh yeah, right? Get the kids, grab the kids. Now you come back with this filth that he did on the show. Who do you think is sitting up there watching initially because they want to see their little idol? They want to see Little Nas. And then this is what they see.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
And it's a straight shot to the brain because it's it's not filtered. And anything forbidden, they're going to want to see. The children are going to want to see. We have the cell phone. Somebody's going to get it. You know, I got it. I'm going to send it to you. And what's he doing? And then you get the young guys now who, some of them now, you know, are youngsters. A lot of them are still getting molested and touched and violated. And when you have these things happen to you now, you go see this stuff again.
Right.
Your first taste of sexuality, when it did come in the form of some kind of violation, you grow up to know that it's wrong, but it's still the first feeling that you had, and you struggle now.
Yeah,
some man puts his mouth on your penis, or some old dirty old man puts his mouth on your clitoris, and it felt good. It was confusing. And so you get older and you say, oh, that was wrong. And then now you try to reject it. But then the very thing that becomes your fantasy or what's in the back of your mind, or you're manipulating yourself, and the thing that you think about that triggers it off and nobody else is in your head is that. And so now you see stuff on the outside now, and you can't help but secretly, I'm not saying like it, but it influences you like, okay, that's something I want to.
Right.
Nobody, look, let me tell you something. Nobody takes their laptop on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning and goes to church and pulls up you porn. Well, go ahead, Pastor, preach the word, man. I'm gonna look a little porn over here. You sneak and you do it. You hide and you do it. Nobody says the freakish things that they want to do in public.
Right.
We know the legitimately things that are legitimate, like, okay, I'm with this woman and we do things, and it's 69 and the mandatory things, sucking a titty or whatever it may be, but nobody says like the extreme stuff.
Right.
Like, I got a fetish for this and I got a fetish for somebody to urinate on me. Whatever. People know where the line is.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
But everybody has things that get them, and those are the things that are not restrained. And Peter noise.
That's
they're up at the window
okay.
banging.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing now. They've always been doing it, but it was, for the most part, it's in the shadows. Or like you said, what's the one of the club you talked about last night? You had Plato's Retreat, and then you had the other one,
Trapeze.
the Trapeze. Like you said, it's a very obscure looking little place with just a sign. People like me walking past it would never even know what the hell that was. Wouldn't even wouldn't even be curious enough to say, I wonder what that is. You know what I'm saying? But they were there. They're in there and they're doing their thing, and everybody is, in the shadows, in the darkness, whatever. You know what I mean? Now it's in broad daylight. It's like all of your fantasies and fetishes, as we say, all of the kinky stuff that lives in your mind and should only live in your damn mind and nobody else's reality. Now it's being put out there for everybody. Now I'm going to show you what I think about. Now I'm going to perform for you the things that I want to do. That's, to me, listen, they crossed over 6 solid yellow lines as far as I'm concerned. Really and truly, they just crossed over all the lines.
Yeah. While we're looking at the baby, what he said, they're just out there now.
Yeah.
So what if he came out in a sensible way, the baby, and said, listen, I'm here performing. I'm all about influencing the children for the better. I may not be a household name, but I have to say that in the name of decency, name of just wholesomeness, I as an artist could never do what is being put out there. Right. And I shame anybody who's associated with that, because that is a bit too much for our young minds to see. How could Madonna and Elton John and whoever else this other person is who is a celebrity not agree with that? You understand? True. Does Elton John and Madonna, well, Madonna's an old freak anyway.
Right.
All I'm saying is that, okay, let's put Elton John to task. Not that I ever knew him personally or think that he's any man of great moral turpitude. When you go for law enforcement tests and, turpitude. Right? What does that word really mean? Yeah.
Okay, guys, get your dictionary.
I know, right? Right. To throw that word around. But okay. So there's a way to come at people. Maybe, he was disgusted with something and he came out and said something like that. But you got to be a sharpshooter. You got to know how to say what it is. You just can't blindly throw a punch and hope that it lands. You got to be very strategic, time it, and be economical with your weaponry. Right. Especially when you know that you're being seen, not that you're so famous, but the platforms that you're on. And I would do it in such a decent way where nobody could touch me.
Right.
I would big myself. I would let them know. I said, listen, everybody, you enjoyed this performance that I had tonight. I didn't have to gyrate any kind of way. Right. That's not proper for children. I didn't have to expose my backside. I didn't have to insinuate all different types of sexual act. Now, see, mind you, I didn't say nothing about the homosexual.
Right.
But I would have spoke about them. It's
You
just
would have
like
spoken about it. Yes, indeed.
right. It's just like in corrections, how they taught us that you can't say in the report that the inmate was angry. And I spoke about that before. You cannot say that. You're not a psychologist. You can't say that, but you can describe angry. There were veins protruding in his neck and in his head. His fist was clenched. His muscles were flexed and tensed. His teeth were gritting. His voice got deeper. His eyes were bloodshot. And he was walking toward me in a very aggressive manner. Yeah, now that describes anger.
That describes anger to the T. Yeah.
Exactly. But if I said that you don't see me gyrating on the next person, whether it be male or female, you don't see me acting out of the character in a setting that children shouldn't be looking into anyway. This is not a sexually charged, even though that's a twisted thing with Lil Nas X. You'll refrain from saying that, but you can say that and you can have a whole movement come behind you by the way you see things.
Yes, that's true.
But for him to come out ignorant, maybe he was pissed at the LGBT community and wanted to say something. Yeah, they did after 2 weeks. We know that don't happen. Why would you say that? You blew it, man.
Who came at him? Who came at him? Somebody came. Somebody put something to him.
Yeah, but you know what? I would have been. I would never be reactionary in those worlds, and even still in my life, I try not to be reactionary because when people try to rouse you up, they want to get a rise out of you and a reaction out of it that you can't put back.
Yes,
you have to filter and strain every bit of information or words that come your way. Now, for most people who are on jobs, because most people are on jobs, you'll get a coworker who's sent to you by a supervisor or what they call boss.
I've been there.
To piss you off.
Yes.
And you say this in the break room around other people. Now they run with it. Now they call you in the office. Now the supervisor who's acting like he's your friend. We heard a few things and you know I like you, Lance, and let's sit down and talk about it. No, you don't like me. You sent that guy to get me pissed to say what I said. Yeah. So you can get rid of me and you can do it with a smile on your face. So this is how it is in this world. You always have to look through to that next level and see what's really behind it. What's the end game? What do they want? And that was a big distraction for the Lil Nas X thing and to stop people from saying ignorant things against the LGBT community. But do they police their own selves?
Of course not.
And they use another black man who's willing to be used as a pawn, because that is not hip hop. That is not rap. I don't care what you put on it. It has nothing to do with the streets. It has nothing to do with black folks in the black community.
Nothing at all. Nothing.
The black community.
Nothing. And none of whatever they're singing nowadays. I mean, what kind of consciousness are you raising with the music that's out there nowadays? Seriously.
Well, not only that, but look at it now. You know, the baby said something about AIDS. He should have came out with some facts. What I would have done, I would have came, and I mean, that's not the time to lecture when you're at a concert or whatever, but you have interviews after. And I would have spoke about that. I would have basically used Twitter and Instagram to basically sideways attack Lil Nas X and the ones behind him pushing it. So it's not just him. Right. But I would have brought up jail statistics. If I want to talk about AIDS, or rather prison and jail, but prison statistics of our brothers who are in there dipping and dabbing with each other who are getting HIV. I would have came with facts. Because see, he said something that wasn't true about AIDS. 2 and 3 weeks, you're dead. But why not, if you want to speak about AIDS, speak about how bad off it is in the prisons where we are, where we dominate, in a place where we're the minority as far as numbers are concerned. Right. Here you have somebody glorifying prison and the showers and naked when AIDS is running all up through there. So this guy basically is promoting this foolishness. You see what I mean? He's promoting it. He's pushing it. You got AIDS. AIDS ain't go nowhere, y'all. They talk about COVID and they put all this energy. You know, I'm not gonna say nothing. I want you to say this word, right? But check it out. Check it out. That's it. Just one word. I ain't see nothing behind it. But with AIDS, it's still there killing us off en masse. but you don't hear much about it in the newspapers like you used to back in the early 80s when it was primarily a gay white man thing. And when it started to become more of a us thing, where I think at one point, the ones who had it the most, they said, were Black women between the ages of 44 and 49, or I'm not sure, because it has morphed so many different ways. But once it got to that point, then it wasn't popular anymore.
Exactly.
It's doing its job. It's killing us off now.
Right.
Most of us can't afford those medications to keep ourselves alive.
It's too damn expensive. You're right, Trisha. That's what we said earlier. You know, he had those people in the audience, and he came out of his mouth and said something that probably wiped out 2/3 of the people who were supporting him.
Exactly.
You know? Because you have these gender neutral people and the gender fluid and the binary and all the different kinds of things nowadays, where it's not just a matter of being gay or heterosexual or whatever. Now it's you know, I was reading an article where this person, she considered herself a, how did they phrase it? She goes by they or them.
Oh man. Oh man. So you with this woman, right? And you making love to her, and she says, I would love it if you put your mouth on them.
Well,
I'm not talking breasts either.
I know. No, but
Man.
it's like okay, I say something, you know, like I'm talking about you and LanceScurv, da 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 da, you know, and so instead of saying and he said, right? Now you say and they said, because you have the person, you have those, you know, those that are intersexed, especially the ones that are intersexed, because they feel like they're both man and woman. You know what I mean? So they don't go by being male or female anymore. They go by both. So they're plural. They're them. You know? So
it's
when
confusing, but you know,
I know.
I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not gonna mess with any of it. I'm
But
just
when
gonna
you but I'm just saying, you know, we're not
right.
but when you have all of those mix of people of you know, yes.
You're gonna offend somebody at some point.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm at the age now I can use that as an excuse. Well, you know, I'm all this newfangled stuff I don't know about. If I offended anybody, you know, oh yeah, he's old.
Me.
So you don't,
that's me.
I can't. Then with all these categories, because at one point I heard that Facebook had gotten to the point where it was like 71 or 72 different categories of identifiers and sexuality, sexual categories. Yeah. This was years ago, but I saw some of the terms, you know, that they have now, but it really, I mean, it's like, is somebody sitting around all day thinking this stuff up and putting it out there? Well, the next sexual category bulletin today is, you know,
clearly.
Yeah. I mean, what is it now? The next one is vegan cross-dressers who are midgets, vegan cross-dress. I mean, come on. How do you even date somebody now? How do you even get with somebody now? Well, we can't have sex because we're in two different categories right now.
I don't know. That is so.
My God,
it's so nebulous and so confusing. Yeah,
and we're pulled out of ourselves. We're not even like, okay, this is who I am. Before, like I said, I know we have hermaphrodites. I know we have situations where things are not cut and dried, but for the most part, damn it, it's male and female.
Right.
I mean, for the most part, man. For the most part. I'm not trying to be nasty, but it's dick and pussy now. Come on. Now, I'm not trying to be nasty. I got to bring it down to that. What else is there? Look, you may have a hermaphrodite, may have this, may have that. What else is there? This world is screwing our head up, man.
There's nothing else. It's only two things. You know,
those hermaphrodites and those who have issues, because I remember meeting this woman way back in the early 80s, and she's a woman now. But when it came time to, you know, enjoy the festivities, there was no hair down there. There was nothing down there, like a Barbie doll. She had to get an operation to cut everything open. thick skin over everything.
Oh my
There
God.
was a small hole, to urinate. I didn't want to ask anymore, but we did go that far. But then she told me she was embarrassed. She was real turned on, but she was embarrassed. She had her clitoris was under all of that. I don't know how her period worked because there was nothing. There was no vagina. There was nothing. It was all internal. But she had some issues that she said she had to. And I was very, it wasn't like it was no dude that was trying to fool me or nothing, But I was very considerate.
Right.
She wanted a certain type of manual stimulation.
Right.
And that's what freed her up from the tensions that we built up. I had no problem with that. I felt really, and then she
I
must
know
have
if is she still around, do you think?
Well, yeah, she has to. I mean, we're around the same age, maybe.
Okay,
she should be.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was a one-time thing, and it wasn't because I'm freaked out or whatever. Because it was really in passing. It was like casual. It was like, we hung out a couple of times, and it was I never pressured a woman like that, and any woman, and so it was kind of playful and whatever. And I didn't push it, and she didn't push it. We just got to that point, and that's what happened, and. She got a feeling and everything, and she made sure that I was okay, and we hung out after that, but it never went to that point. And we were talking about it.
Interesting.
It wasn't like, oh, you don't want to touch me anymore because you think I'm weird
Is it one of those situations where yes, she's a really nice person, she's a sweet person, but she tested your fickleness, so to speak.
Say it again.
She tested you, just to see how you would react to her.
Yeah, because I'm a sensitive guy. Like I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. You know what I mean? Even if I have to hold certain things in, which that wasn't the case. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
Boy,
just there's a little small hole which you can urinate out of. But everything else was
comedy night because you are God help us.
What happened?
What happened? You seen, brother Lance? What happened?
But I never knew it was like that. I never knew. Never knew. No. But you know what it is with me? It's not even like what haven't I seen? Yeah, we got that part down. I've seen a lot. The sexual things. I've always been attracted to me, and I've always been nosy to see it. But here's the other one. My sense of recall, my memory. That's the thing. I did not know that my memory was like this. I thought everybody had a memory like this. Like I said, when I called up my friend Lamar, it was a little less than 40 years that we haven't spoke. And I remember everything from when we used to train together to what he wore, the sneakers he had on, the songs that were playing on the radio, the jokes and the actual faces of the people. We in the gym training, you got people who are like wannabe bodybuilders, and we're making, not venomously, but like, and I'm seeing these people. I'm seeing the white boys that were in there. I'm seeing every hair and pimple on their face.
Man.
There are people who walked past me in the gym that never really spoke to me. I had a conversation, but you go to the water, the water cooler, you drink, water fountain, you drink, and they, they make a little face or something, or they say something. I remember all of that.
Wow.
I remember all of that.
No, that's not normal.
No, it's not normal. It's not. I'm glad I have it, but my thing is
there's a name for that. I just can't. There's a name for that.
Yeah. There was a guy who a white man used to train in the gym. Nice white man, and we'd always treat him nice. We'd say, "Hey man, how you doing?" So and so. But amongst us, we had jokes, right? Because he had this white wife who had a black woman's body.
Really?
So, yeah, we used to joke, right? And I said, you know what? One of you guys are going to get so sick and fed up of seeing this black woman's body, and you're going to want her so bad, you're just going to walk up to him and punch him in the face and just take her. and I acted like I was punching him in the face that he would make. And it was like they all cracked up. I was like, yo, if you dropped him, that's the way it went. Now, I'm not violent. But I brought that up. He's like, you remember that? And then I started doing some of the voices, imitating some of the people that were in the gym.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And he was like, he didn't have to ask me who it was. He was like, That's Gene. That's Danny. That's Charlie Thomas.
Oh
That's this
my
one. That's that one.
gosh.
Yeah. So that's why I can't wait to do the comedy shows where I can pull the camera back and you can see when I get the studio done and you can see me from head to toe, and we do a live show and we just vibe like that.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
It's scary though.
It's not normal.
No, it's not. It is scary though. It's scary in a good way, but when I'm around people, I absorb them so much. I'm not just studying them like I'm going to remember you 40 years from now.
Right.
I'm just figuring them out. But my focus on the people, and just like I said, my friends there, the Jamaican dudes used to hang out with Popeye and them.
Mm-hmm.
89, 90, we used to throw the parties. And these were some rough dudes that a lot of times I'm like, listen, y'all are starting that crazy stuff. I got to get out of here. But they were mad fun. I remember everything about them. And this is why my perception of time is off. 5 years can go by and we can talk, but for some reason we didn't talk and we start talking again.
And it's like nothing. Yeah,
because then now it's all real and right there in my face. And time to me is it doesn't exist. It's like I'm still there. I just have to think about that time period.
Right. Because it's, time is, am I right in saying it's sort of like it's circular? It goes around, it comes around, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
For a lot of us, we tend to think it's just linear, it's just one line from beginning to end.
No.
So we tend not to, recall or relive anything in detail because it becomes part of the shadow section going, it's fading,
See, time to me is like being in the sea, being in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the little floating, what do you call it?
Donuts.
The little donuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you write a year on it. Like say, one of my favorite years for me is 1982.
Okay.
And you take it, you throw it over there and it floats away, far away now.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you write,
the buoy. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it starts to come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, oh, there's 1982. It never left. It's not one after the other. It's always around you and always a part of you. You're always connected to it.
Right.
Thing. It never ends. That's where I always thought time to be, because it leaves its imprint on you, but it doesn't leave it and it gets old. It stays with you.
Right.
So
exactly.
that feel that you can recreate through music, the times, the places, the things. And that's why I use music to recall these things now. Yeah.
Why 1982? Joseph wants to know why 1982 bodybuilding.
Oh, okay. That's when I won the teenage nationals in bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an awakening for me. That was a new level of awareness. Growing up in New York City, I was around the guys at the gym that they were living some wild lives. I don't mean wild like drugs or crime. I never did that. I never hung around people like that. But, okay, in 81, I was competing in bodybuilding for 1980. And in 81, had a falling out with that old gym owner, but we were cool again after that. And I went to this other gym, Zen's gym, which was like the biggest, baddest, roughest gym. And that was 81. And I learned under these guys who, a lot of them were on steroids, but they were like hardcore.
Right.
And I came into my own in 82 after learning a lot of little tricks on exercise physiology, diet, training, and just the whole thing. After we train, we go into the city and hang out. It was just a whole new level for me of awakening. It was almost like virginity to me, you lose in different stages, and it's not just this thing.
Right.
Like, so that was an opening up of my mind more so. I was already advanced from in the 70s. I mean, mind you, I was born in 63. So 78, I was 15 years old. I was already out there. But this was a whole new level because a lot of these guys who trained didn't live orthodox lives.
Right.
And I had a very normal life at home. So to come out into the city, I'm hanging out with these guys. Some of these guys worked at adult sex shops and peep shows and grimy places, the old Times Square. So when I would go to the city, these guys, a lot of them would be working there. Hey, Lance, come on over here, hang out with me for a while. And so now I had a right to be in there because it wasn't like, oh, you're a pervert going in these places. So here I am in Times Square, the old Times Square, that's all Disneyed out now.
Mm-hmm,
And I get a chance to hang out. I'm hanging out there an hour or two, even when they're not there working in different places.
Right.
The owners knew me now. The owners were offering me jobs. You want to work here, man? Because I was young, but I was still muscular and stuff. And I was like, no, that's okay. That's okay. You know what I mean? But I got a chance to hang out. And even the guys would give me coins. They would check out a few of the girls, man. Check out a few of the shows. I got to know a lot of the girls there. It was no big thing. So I got a chance to, like when you watch these shows by Vice on YouTube, or you watch these shows behind the scenes and underground, really grimy stuff.
Yeah.
I got a chance to live that every single day of my life.
Wow.
And it started long before 1982, but 82 gave me entry into many worlds that I never had a chance to go in, and I knew it. So more so than the person who's passing by and say, yeah, I used to hang out around that area, or I passed through, or I knew of somebody.
You were in the midst of it. Yes.
Yeah. I remember also there's a guy named Rob, an Italian guy, and his father had pizza joints all over. And Rob used to insinuate that he was connected in the family. Now, I'm not going to say it wasn't the truth, but it's just like this. It's like Jamaican dudes, right? Boomba Clyde, I can't deal with this, man. Shut you up. Come on, everybody ain't no gangster. Every Jamaican dude ain't no gangster.
Exactly.
But they know that accent puts fear in people when they go off or whatever, which, half my family being from Jamaica, I'm looking at these guys, they think I'm just American. I'm like, come on, man, you ain't scaring nobody. I will bust the flavor out your mouth. Get out of here. Because most of them fight anyway. So you have these guys who, I am, we're connected, so you hear the mafia music. And it's like, come on, man, you bluffing. But I think that he did have some distant connections, but I don't think it was as amped up as he. So his family had in Kew Gardens, right across from the courthouse, a pizza joint there. And they also had a pizza joint right on 42nd Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. So when I would go hang out with some of the dudes who worked in the adult spots, Sister Miko, yes, I see her there, right?
Yes, I see her too.
Yeah.
Never mind, sis. I hope he's still watching.
Yeah, so
come on back, Wesley.
Yeah, so I'd be able to go over there and grab some pizza, hang out over there too. So there were people that, like, when you go through a neighborhood, and I learned this from driving the bus, from driving the dollar van, when you go through the streets, even in your own neighborhood to go to work,
yes,
you know those streets, you see those people at that same particular time who are either going to work at the same time, coming home at the same time. You usually see the same people when you're on the same bus or train at the same time. Even to the point where, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, where you're taking the train to work every day or bus, and you don't know half the people, but when you don't see certain people, you say to yourself, I wonder what happened to that happy man. I haven't seen him in a week. Well, or you see him again and you realize you ain't seen him in a week, but you don't talk to him.
Right.
See,
that's
so
true.
When you're in the street constantly, you see the wave of people that you may know, but I'm seeing the next wave and the next wave, and I'm more comfortable in this neighborhood.
Right.
The police in your neighborhood, they're up and down in that shift all day long. So they might have been in your house before you bought it, when they had an altercation with somebody, so they know it. They can tell you stories. Oh, somebody was murdered in your house 6 years ago. So, what? For real? You know what I mean?
Move out time.
Right? Me being in Times Square like that, hanging out, having reasons to go to these different spots,
right?
Being very comfortable there. I would go, and the whole Times Square now was like my living room. Didn't know everybody. But there's a place I can go to the bathroom. There's a place I could freshen up. There's some gyms a couple blocks away that I can go take a shower, or I can go hang out. I can go to, I used to be able to go to Manhattan and just chill. And so like you get Mike Scott, come on, Mike, let's go over here. Let's go check out Better Bodies Gym. Let's go down to Greenwich Village. Let's go over here in Times Square. Let's go check out this spot. And then you get to know some of the people. I remember there was a dude, he was like some gang leader or something. And I remember his name, his street name was Zeus. Big muscular black guy with a mohawk. He lived somewhere in the Times Square area in one of the high rises, but he ran things in the street.
Right.
You ain't gonna know stuff like that unless you really out there all the time. If you just passing through, it's like, like passing through Coney Island. You don't know the crimes and different things and the different gangs and groups that are there because you just passing through.
Right. And plus you going to school up in Manhattan. I mean, that was normal for you. I mean, on any given day, just walk down into, Times Square.
Then before that, having a father who has a business that's all through Manhattan, all through the city. So that's why I was so relaxed like that.
Right,
so
right.
I say, man, you be making half this stuff up, man. Ain't nobody had that much stories. It's because of the way I lived in my life and the way it was set up. It was a very unique situation.
Right.
I was always, uptown and with my father, 6, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old in the summertime or on the weekends. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So where we going today, Daddy? We're going over by Amsterdam Avenue and so street. So he does a job over there for 3 or 4 days. And I got my comic books in the van. You know what I mean? Because I'm a young kid. I'm going to do something. He'll still pay me. But all the kids that are living there now, the first day you always look at each other. The second day you hang in. Third day you're playing hard. Fourth day, now you always know them.
Now you
around the corner on another job with my father or 5 blocks away. Daddy, can you take me over there? I want to say hi to my friends. And you go over there. So now you got friends all over the city. You lose contact with some of them.
Right.
You don't go all the time, but so you're relaxed. Subconsciously, you're relaxed because you know that house, you know that block. You might have seen this kid for 5 years. He's real tall now. Hey, I remember you. You're the guy with all the comic books. Hey, man, how you doing? Hey, I'm getting ready to go away, man. Now he might be 18 years old now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm getting ready to go away, man. I did something real bad oh man, I wish you the best. Hope all works out. Some people, did you find out this one caught a stray bullet? Or some little scraggly plain Jane chick now has the body worth dying for. Like, oh my God. Oh, I know you want to talk to me now, but you wasn't paying me no mind years ago. Like, oh man.
Look at me now. Look at me now.
You see all of these things, life hits you. And so there's no way I can't talk the way I do. I'm not going to hold back and, I had an interesting life, but, neither here nor there. Then you can recall it.
Man, I wish I could. Shoot.
I remember
I've forgotten so much.
There's just like 2 things. There's one thing that really bothers me. I have this sense of recall, and there's this one song that used to come on late at night.
Like you told me about that.
Yeah, like back in 89. And 89, 90 on the mixes. It never had a name. It was just a beat. And I love that beat so much. And I can't find it. It bugs me. Yeah, sometimes when I'm doing stuff, uploading stuff to the website or whatever, I'll pick these long, random house music, like on YouTube, they have it where like for 3 hours, and I'll just let it roll, hoping that it pops up,
Wow.
And there's another song
and what channel did it used to come on? Because you did say it came on a particular station.
It would come on at night 98.7 KISS, because they had a different format back then, back in the late 80s and early 90s. WBLS sometimes 107.5 in New York when they would have their nights of house music, and 97.1 sometimes because they were like the new kid on the block in a way. 92 KTU wasn't around. I don't think it was around at that time. I think they just morphed off into something else. But there's another song back in the mid 70s. I'm not sure if Manhattan's made it, but I used to love that song. I was a kid. I used to love it. What's it called? I think the words were "I need love." I'd have to hum it out to you. You're not going to get just on that alone. I'd have to get into it. I mean, I have to really get into it, and I'll be so. But I'm gonna get this. I gotta find it. I'm like, I wasn't dreaming that song.
No, you weren't.
It's there. A girl I used to have a crush on, and every time I'd hear that song, I'd think of her. Like I was like, this had to be like I was like 13 or 14 years old.
Wow.
13, 14, and I used to hear it a lot for around a month in the summer of '76. And I never heard it no more after that. And it bugs me. No, because I'm on my music, man. Music helps me to recall a lot of things.
True.
Because I got songs for people after a while.
Yeah.
People, places, and things.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So I file it away, and I have different ways of cross-referencing certain things.
Right.
There are people that, like, say, for example, I might have been with my father up in uptown in Manhattan, and we're by the shop where he kept his machinery and stuff like that. Because, you know, we lived in Manhattan, so he had to keep his stuff somewhere. And when we left the apartment and got the house out in Queens, he still kept the shop. So he didn't have to come and drag everything. But eventually he gave the shop up and kept everything in the house, in the basement. But I mean, I remember the old ice cream man and people in the pizza joint. I mean, and secondary people who just passed by. It's in my head. This is why, like, for me, I like to draw faces. I don't draw fruit. There's nothing socially stimulating about that. But I love faces, and I love confrontation. I love you know, the hero, and I love the antagonist and human conflict. I love that. And so I used to imitate people even when I was real young. My father used to, like, he wouldn't push me to do it, but I would see people. I remember there was a guy who worked in a numbers joint. It was a numbers joint. The one where I saw the guy get killed right next to me.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a hamburger joint, but behind it was a numbers joint. And you can walk up and sit down like you're getting the hamburgers and play your number. But I'll never forget this older man's face and how he had the patty on the grill, and he had a little spatula thingy going under it and flipping it. But he would be looking at girls' asses as they walked by, but never miss a beat with that burger. And he never knew I was looking. And nobody noticed it, right? So one day my father was in there, because it was right next to the shop. And so I'm sitting there as a little boy acting all innocent. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. And so my father said, "Lance," he pointed at him. And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know what to do." And I'm acting shy. Like, so everybody was in there. And so I said, "Okay, there was a girl in there. She had a real nice shape." I said, "Give it like 15 seconds. In my little boy way, I said it that way, and then walk past me." And so I made the face that he made. It's a funny behind face. I couldn't even describe it to you.
My God.
And so I was sitting here, I had one hand on my hip like I'm doing the hamburger. And when she walked by, I looked around like, is anybody looking? And then I put my face and I'm looking all up in her butt or up in her backside. And they cracked the F up. They were like, "Yeah, that's him." They didn't even notice it. They're like, "Yo, that's him. That's what he does." He was like, "I'm through."
And your father just knew that you had seen everything, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There were some characters. It was at 136th Street, right off of 135th, which is a major, you know, street. 136th Street. His cousin owned several brownstones in Manhattan.
Right.
But his cousin was getting up there in age, and she was cheap anyway. I would like her anyway, man. She did me wrong. Anyway, she had him collecting the rent for her in the hopes that, well, down the line, I'm gonna leave you one of these buildings. But she never did.
Right.
She was just a cheapskate to the day she died. You know what I mean? But I wasn't looking for nothing from her, but he did it anyway. So the tenants in this one particular building, we got to know real good. And I had them all. They were cooking out one time in the backyard. My father didn't even know that I did them. He's like, I'm willing to bet he's going to imitate all of you before you get out of here. And I never forget it. I got up there and I did it. And they were just cracking up. They were cracking up. I love stuff like that.
Man, Mr. Showbiz.
No. I wouldn't say that, but you know.
Mr. Showbiz, you're a vaudeville person. They should bring back old vaudeville, and you would be the top marquee person. And you're at the ripe old age for that too, you know.
But it's funny because there's this one guy named Mr. Jones who was there, and he had he was rocking the Leon Spinks, tooth style.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a little chubby. He had to be like about maybe, see, he was well over 60, but he was like a 1970s kind of, I'm poor and I didn't take care of myself kind of 60s. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So his woman was named, we didn't know whether he was calling her, because she was from the deep South. And as you know, many people migrated from the South up into New York, up into Chicago and Detroit for better jobs and stuff, but they brought their ways. And a lot of them just weren't educated, book sense wise.
Right.
So it reflected in their speech. So Mr. Jones he had a funny voice, because back then I love boxing back then. I used to always, if you left me alone in the room, I'm shadow boxing. I'm fighting somebody imaginary, and people would walk in on me like, damn, he's kind of fast. He's kind of good. So we were like, yeah, so he takes a punch. So his joke with me is like, hey, young man, you gotta learn how to dodge. Yeah, I know you see. I see you. You gotta know how to dodge. He was playing. He didn't know how to fight. See me, and that was the first thing on. Young man here know how to dodge. It's not just throwing a punch, but you know how to dodge, right, Peggy? And that's his woman. And she's over there. Yeah. She was slow as heck. She was slower than Heinz ketchup. Nice lady, but I never heard her speak a word before in her life. And we didn't know whether he was calling her Peggy or Piggy. That was the question. Oh. Is he calling her Piggy or is he calling her Peggy? Because she looked like a piggy.
Lance.
No, I'm not knocking her. No, she did. I'm not saying like, oh, she's like a pig. But she the only thing that didn't sound like a pig about that lady was she didn't go oink. But she was a nice lady, but we couldn't figure her out. She was always sitting on the side of the bed, and he was always referring to her. Ain't that right, Peggy? Ain't that right, Peggy? Yeah. How you doing? That's all we knew is she said is how you doing. But you couldn't ask her nothing. You couldn't ask her directions. And you get, yeah.
Oh.
Don't ask her nothing. She can just sit there and be nice with a little beer, a little thing of soda. That's Peggy. And if you said Peggy, you'd hear him say Piggy. If you said Piggy, you'd hear him say Peggy. You didn't know what you wanted to ask, but you were embarrassed. Like, what's your woman's name, man? Is that
Peggy? I would venture for Peggy.
And she always had these dark glasses on, no matter what time you can go up there.
God.
It's all right. You come on in. Piggy's you decent, right? Yeah, I'm decent. And she got these dark glasses on. Oh, the room is dark. The TV's on, and you never saw, but you can see through them glasses. She had some big behind eyes. I didn't want to see with them glasses on because it would have scared me.
Well, that's why she wore it.
And then she always had she had really full lips. And she had the lipstick on, but it was like she was the Joker before the Joker because the lipstick was like going up the side of her face. Aww. Like she was smiling with she just got up near, right up to the level of her nose.
That is sad.
And I'm like, is she singing something? You hear by yourself.
He vowed to take care of her regardless.
No, she was a nice lady, Beatrice. Be a God. You heard her by herself, and then I don't know, her waistline was so high.
Oh God.
That's where I got the term knapsack ass. Ever tell you what a knapsack ass was?
No, you never told. So Lance, I didn't hear this one.
Knapsack on, right?
Yeah.
You got a knapsack ass. And you want to scratch your ass, you don't reach behind you and reach low. You reach over your shoulder because your butt's so high. She had a high butt. Like she could have looked up and the back of her head would have hit her butt.
Oh my God. Man.
And she always wore these pants that they were full in the front because she had a little gut and everything, but they were always so tight around the back and she didn't have no shape. So it was going up. Yeah, it was going up the crack of her behind, but there was no behind because it was just two legs that ended in her lower back.
Oh, God.
The waistline was high.
Lance, you know what it is, right? They never sat her up when she was a baby. They kept.
Yeah, Romy said I got to go to my room now.
You got to
right?
go to your room. They left her on her back for too long.
Censorship and living my truth. We started out one way, now we going a whole other way.
Now you were exercising your freedom of speech.
Yeah. No, but it's from those days and other days, and it brings me back to thoughts that I gotta think this stuff. So I'm pouring it out. Y'all are helping me today.
Oh God, help us.
Marie, she said her face hurts. And then Piggy would always wear these tablecloth looking pants, like it'd be like red and white checkered, yeah, or light green and white check. It's like, where do you get these pants from?
They make it at home.
No, but it's like some old Salvation Army type stuff. I'm not making fun of her, but it would never fit right. Her body was never made to fit this stuff right. She is a nice lady though. And then Mr. Jones,
how much can you say that, Lance, as you continue?
I'm saying this stuff, but I was bedazzled as a child because I'm trying to figure this thing out. Because I'm polite, as a child, I was always polite to everybody, and even now I'm always polite. But I'm looking at them, you know how we tolerate things and we see things, and okay. I'm not the kind of guy, damn lady, you retarded or something? I'm not like that. Even as an adult, I'm just polite unless you really step on my toes and I give a person a riot act. But that's the kind of thing like, Daddy, is she okay? Like, I don't never see her with them glasses off. And she always like had a mint in her mouth. She wasn't
good.
a person drinking, I know, but she's always churning a mint in her mouth. You want a mint? I'm like, nah, because the way the whole room smelled like mint. And I'm looking at her mouth, I'm like, nah, it's like she's kissing me or something if I put a mint in my mouth or something.
Oh my God. You're a mess.
Yeah, Indigo King, I had one of those too. His name was Mr. Goodsight. Goodzeit. Definitely a Jewish man. And if he wanted to touch his nipples, all he had to do was move the belt out the way. And he would stay humped up. He'd lean in concave. When you're having sex, and the man pulls back, then he pushes it in, and it's real good in the missionary. Well, he walked around humped in. His butt cheeks were just clenched, and it looked like a little W in his pants. I'm not looking at the man's backside, but them Jewish men ain't got no butts anyway. But it looked like a little W. Like he humped in, and then he put his hands on his hips like he's Superman.
Oh, I've seen those kinds of people.
He had the thick glasses too.
Who does that? Somebody mimics that. There's an actor that.
I know.
I'm looking at him.
I'm gonna mimic it too, for real. Mr.
I'm looking
Goodsight.
at him, but I can't think of the name. Oh my God.
He's always doing the peripheral vision thing because his eyes were like slits behind them goggle glasses. He was always catching people like do things. You need cranky. Like he humped up like that and couldn't unhump to get any more.
Right.
But his back was so high. And anytime you said Mr. Goodsight, people cracked up. I said, oh man. I used to draw them. And I used to draw all my teachers. You know that, right?
What? No, listen. Is this Revelation morning?
Back in junior high school in Virgil Grissom. I gotta find out. I don't have it, but I used to do it to elementary school, but I used to do all these doodles in school during class. And they approached me and they said, Lance, we're going to give you a spread in the yearbook. And we want you to draw all the teachers you want to draw. And I did. And it was classic. What
year did you graduate?
Well, see, this is how it worked. I never got left back, but they had a special program where they kept us. So instead of just 7th and 8th, like, your elementary schools 1 through 6, and then 7th and 8th is middle school, and then 9th grade is high school. They kept us, not a left back thing, but it was a special program for special students who were kind of smart. So they kept the 9th grade, not the whole 9th grade, but these 4 classes in 9th grade, 91, 92, 93, 94. So now the numbers didn't denote smart levels, right? Because, like, say for example, 6-1, all the one class, like the smart classes in each grade,
Right.
2, 1, 3, 1. I was in all the ones in elementary school, right?
Right.
So, but if you were in 6-2, that means you had a little problem, you know.
Right.
You need a little more special attention. 6-3, okay,
Right.
you know, 6-4 is like it's not just problems. You all some bad kids. 6-5 is like you probably got some problems at home and you really can't focus on learning, whatever. So when we got to like 7-1, 1, they did the same thing in junior high school, but when it came to this thing and they offered it to us, my parents, I think we didn't have to take it, but I liked the idea of it. And I was like, I want to do it. I want to do it. There was a special pilot program in Virgil I. Grissom middle school. So we were like the super seniors in that whole school, but they gave us intensive work in a very unique way. Like they were trying new innovative ways of teaching.
Right.
It weren't to just sit down and look on the board and study your notes and the test is tomorrow.
Right.
So we got away with a lot of stuff. And so, you know, I think they had kids from other schools too come in for that program. So it was a bunch of nerds, a bunch of us, you know. So with the artistic ability, you know, that was one of the things they allowed me to do. Like I was allowed to draw those things in class because I was a class clown with the pen and always doing that. So it was like, okay, you know. And so I must have got like about, let's say, a good 25 teachers. And I drew, it didn't just draw their face. There was one little guy, I think his name was Mr. Engel. And I always liked him. He was a short little guy. He was in the Golden Gloves way back in the 40s or something. I'm not sure, but he was an older guy. But, you know, he knew I liked boxing, so he told me. So I drew him with a gold medal and a boxing glove, punching this other teacher in the face while he was smiling. And the teacher punched the prick. You know what I mean? But I remember a lot of them, and I did them all according to the character that they were in my mind. You know?
Oh my gosh!
I drew the science teacher with a jetpack, like he was flying around, like he had extra like technological skills and stuff. It's a lot of stuff like that, you know. Yeah. So that was the key, you know. So yeah, I graduated out of there, and the thing with me was that school was boring to me after a while. You know,
it wasn't challenging enough.
yeah, because that was when I went to high school art and design after. But what year was that? 78. I think that June of 78 when we left out of that program. But we should have been out of there. I should have been in high school already. But it was good. And like I said, my sit-up record is still.
You know what?
If anybody in Queens, please go to that school and go to the gym class and look back at 1978, and you'll see my name up there for the sit-up record.
Oh, right. I mean, I went to junior high school till the 9th grade.
No, I mean that's not a, you know.
Yeah.
They got their ways of bending the rules and doing things, but it was really nice. Nice because we had like freedoms and everybody else was younger. They looked up to us and everything.
Right.
You know, a year when you're in middle school and high school, a year difference is like a million years. Like you don't date anybody in a grade older than you or hang out. There's the older guys and we're sophomores and we're freshmen and we're seniors, juniors. So you always kind of like stick to your own type thing.
Right.
And the grade below you, they look like little babies to you. You know, that's just the way it is. That's
true. That's true.
But for me, going to art and design was taking the train every day. That was like the ultimate freedom.
You're grown now.
Say it again?
I said you're grown now. You know, you can take the train by yourself. Yeah.
But I mean, it was just fun. It was just fun. I look forward to it. It didn't go. It couldn't, because we had friends that went to that school that we went to school with from junior high school.
Right.
Because we had to take a test for that school.
And you started in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I knew Manhattan already. That was the cool part about it. My other friends from Queens, they were like, oh man, I've never been out here before. Not like this. And I'm showing them around. Come on over here. Let's go over here. Let's go over there. You go in that place before? I said, yeah. But that's for grown people. Don't worry about it. I never sold drugs, but I sold porn, though. I'll tell you that much.
I know you did.
I'll tell you about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right up in those spots and tell me what kind of stuff you want. I'd get a few magazines, and the guys in the high school were paying me for it.
My God.
Even one or two of the security guards. Hey, bro, I heard you bringing that shit up in here. Let me see. How much you want for this, man? But I had these Indian dudes at these newsstands that they weren't supposed to sell that stuff. They had hardcore stuff. You know, if you come here back with the authorities, I'm going to deny it. Right? Yeah.
So they would just save them for you, wouldn't they? Well,
I mean, I'm brazen. I'd go up and pick whatever, or if there were other adults around, they couldn't like sell me that stuff. But I had dudes that they caught wind of that because, that started really years before when I found those 6 crates of magazines. And after a while, I started selling them. Mm-hmm. So I got known for that. How much you going to sell me this for, man? Because, you get other little young adolescents. They ain't going to go up in no newsstand or go up in some adult establishment and go. They can't. They're little kids.
Right.
But I was a little kid, but I looked more like, I could pass. Mm-hmm. Especially when I started doing bodybuilding. Nobody questioned me then. I go buy all this stuff and read it myself and then go sell it off and make the money back and make profit.
My God. My gosh. I don't know. Yeah. You embody just about every man.
No, I wouldn't even put that big title on myself. I just
you don't have to put it. I've heard enough.
You have a little 2-month period of doing this and find this or find that, whatever.
Right.
Oh man.
Wow, I tell you. It's always good to have variety on this platform. You start out one way, and before the show is over,
where it's gonna go.
You never know where it's gonna go.
But as far as that sit-up record is concerned, I'm probably going to even call there and see if somebody could maybe take a snap of it on their phone or something, because we can do that these days,
Yeah, exactly.
So, hey, I used to be at the school. This is my name, so and so. I want to see if that thing is still standing, because I did the 1,630 sit-ups in 1978.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they put it in gold and, put it right up on the plaque. And this is always going to be up here.
Wow.
So, let's see if anybody else broke it. Probably they did. But
how much was it? 1,000 what?
1,630.
Okay.
And I was messed up because the year before I could only do 75. And I was mad. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to whip this record. And there's this guy, Frank Zasso. He got 1,700 and change the year before. He's a little Italian guy, little skinny. Of course he can do that amount of sit-ups. He ain't have no weight on him.
Right.
And he was walking around. You think you're going to break Frank Zasso's record? I don't know the guy, but that was his name. Zaso. I fiended. I was like, man, I'm going to whip that guy's record. And after a while, after the gym class was over, I kept going because it's like, okay, he's trying for the record, so he's going to spend the whole day here. Well, it's like you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, man, after a while, you're like, 1. You're laying back in you. 2. Or rather, 1,003. Okay, 1,004. You go real slow. You're hurting.
Right.
Right. While moving, And
so because you can't just stop.
Nah. So I thought that I got to 1,700. And I did 30
more. What happened? Why did that happen? Why did that happen?
There's a white guy counting, man, and he was a buddy of what's his name. And he told me I got to that point. Because at one point, I didn't want to think about what number it was.
Right.
I'd ask every now, how much should I have now? Because if you start thinking numbers, it starts getting heavier.
Yeah.
I'm coming close to the record. I'm going to get tired now. So he told me, oh man, you about to pass it now. So when I got to 1,600, I'm thinking I was at 1,700.
Right.
I did 30 and I'm like, "Phew, I'm done." They're like, "You sure?" I already stopped.
You can't
And when I
start up
found,
again.
the gym teacher came in. How much did he do? 1,600. 1,600. I thought it was 1,007. I thought I beat Frank Sasso's record.
Oh man, that hurt.
I wanted to beat that white boy. What?
Oh man. You see that? They're just so friggin' afraid of us. They're so intimidated by us. Eh? That they have to go to that level of deception.
Well, that's why, like, maybe it was in me. Like, that's why I got into bodybuilding heavy and did good. And, it was crazy because, like, when we speak about 1982, and I was training with this guy named Gene Lumumba, as well as my friend Lamar, and as well as Mike. Mike was training with Jose Guzman, but we were all in the same circle,
Right.
I did 1,000 sit-ups, not just crunches, and there was this lower back gadget that I would sit down on instead of laying face down on, and lean all the way back and come up. Between that and the crunches and leg raises, I did like 1,000 repetitions after each workout. So my stomach was so,
Damn.
Yeah. So
Damn.
yeah, so that's why I didn't have to go and do all of that, but that was like after the workout. We'd all do that. We play the music. Music is playing in the gym, and you rocking back and forth. We laugh and we talk, and the stomach hurts a little bit. You stop. I couldn't do that stuff straight now. You're already wet. You finished training. You're sweating. Summertime, over 100 degrees inside there. And that's how
that
you're
was a
going to get
different time, different mindset. That was youth and, all those different things.
And for those who don't know, the same old funky picture.
Oh, you're putting it up?
So that's why my stomach looked like that with no fat on it, because I was just always doing that, So that's how that worked out. But that was a hell of a time. And I love the way I felt at that point. It was like my body was so light. It was like I could just, if I said fly, I was just like, damn, I'm up on the 3rd story of a building right now. It just felt so effortless. Yeah. And the energy never stopped. You just kept going and going and going. So that's why people thought I was sniffing coke.
What?
Yeah, people thought I was sniffing coke then. My energy levels were just too high. My eyes always open, and I'm always talking fast, and we'd hang out all night, and somebody said, "Let's go over here for 2 hours. Come on, let's go." Like, yo, your boy smokes sniffing something, man. Yeah.
Wow.
I wasn't. People think I'm,
high
I'm
energy.
in the gym since 85. Hyped up for life. Like I said, I'm telling you too, now that I'm here in Accra, out here in Ghana, I'm going to go through another period like that, like my 1982. And I'm bringing everybody with me through the camera, through the shows and everything too. Like a time of exploring, going all up in places, wanting to see things, wanting to meet people, except this time I have all of you with me. Even though it's through cyberspace and I have the camera, I can upload stuff. I can bring people back. I can do live streams and make you see it. I always think, and like my friend Kevin, I was speaking to him. I spoke to him yesterday for like 4 hours. If you remember me telling you that. And he said, Lance, he said, all these things that you did, man, if you had the cameras and stuff now and all those things you did.
Oh my gosh, that would be some kind of documentary. Oh God.
Wow. How amazing would that be?
Yeah.
So I can show you.
You could do a documentary if you had a camera back then,
A huge, long documentary.
Yeah, and it would be fascinating. People would pay a premium to put that out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of original footage too, because a lot of people always speak about, especially the old Times Square, which is more to me than just going down to Times Square, but it was like that era, that period. You can catch snippets of it, and you could see little, but it's nothing like being all in it at that time. I would give anything right now to go back and just visit, you know, and sad enough. I mean, I love my life and everything, right? But sometimes I struggle because I'm not an old guy thinking about the past or living in the past, but them days there was sweet days. I ain't gonna lie.
I agree.
I would give up the cell phone in a heartbeat to enjoy that.
Yeah.
I would give up the internet in a heartbeat. And I love the internet and how we can connect. But to go back and have that
Well,
more
don't
human
give up the internet. You could give up the stuff.
right. But you know what I mean, though.
You know,
I mean, the
pick your
internet.
battles, my dear. Don't give up the internet.
no, but the what the internet brings for us, those of us who
But
know
you
how to
see,
utilize it and research and
yeah,
stuff. But back then, that was the internet.
But what I'm saying is
Listeners-
that look at the vast connection you have. I mean, back then you were connected
That's true.
to people in a limited fashion, you know,
That's true.
that was in your circle and within, you know, the proximity of where you could travel. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Look at this now. We're dealing with someone was in here from Australia earlier.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know,
I think
so
New Zealand too. That's
yeah,
true.
New Zealand rather. Yeah, New Zealand.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, and so look at it. We're sitting here and you're vibing and you're telling your stories to people all over the place. And look where you're at. Yeah, get this up. No man. You can't get up the cell
Well,
phone.
I mean, what I'm saying is that
I know.
rephrase it. It's like the vibrancy
Yeah.
of life
Yes.
overall has been sucked down. The vibration of most people, not us here, because we vibe in a certain way. We remember the vibration and that special anticipation.
Yeah.
A new day. Most people don't have it no more.
True.
Most people don't have it no more. Even the people who come back from that era, they don't have it anymore. Like when you get up and you're like, that electric feeling, I would get up and I'm like so charged, like I'm waiting for the first round bell to ding, ding, ding. I can't wait to get out
you're
there.
ready to go.
Yeah. See your friends and let's go here, and you're laughing, you're telling jokes, you're vibing high. I don't see a lot of that anymore. I don't see a lot of that anymore.
And not a lot of us got that either. So you know, that's a special kind of
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
that
memory.
was a Jerry curl. That was definitely a Jerry curl.
Put that picture up again. Let me examine it more closely.
I mean, the muscle picture there.
Yeah. Let me examine it a little bit more.
Exactly. Yeah. That was a little hair hanging in my face. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gracious.
That was Utica, New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was October 10th, 82. That was in Utica, New York, though. That was upstate. And I'm thinking it was a boring little town. You know, a bunch of freaks up there, too. Those two girls that pulled me into the girls' bathroom after the show. I'll tell you. I don't know if I told you about that.
You did.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay.
Genesee Street, a major street that went through Utica. I remember that part.
Yeah, it goes all the way up to Syracuse.
Yeah.
That's a main street.
And we went up there days before, and the gym owner, my training partner, and a couple of the guys from the gym. And so I remember having these headphones, and I went to one of these major stores on Genesee Street, and they, you know how you sell the tapes, cassette tapes, real cheap. They were like, you know, so I bought a couple of them. I remember I had Chic, and I remember I used to play my Forbidden Lover a lot, and I'm like by myself and meditating and whatever. It was an experience for me. And when the show came, you know, I was in really good shape though. I knew I was. It was like I was high most of the time. I was like, okay, I know I got this show. I have to. I know I won this show. I don't care who's here. I know I won it. And I was locked in, and I was in a zone. And that was a point where I was like so connected to something. It was something I was connected to, out of this world.
My God, look at those veins.
I was already kind of stringy and flat, and that wasn't even a flex picture. That wasn't like the crunch where you really flex. That was in the magazine, and there's a bunch of pictures from that particular competition in different magazines. I'm looking for those old magazines.
Right.
That's not my best picture. There's a lot more that would shock you.
Really?
A friend of mine the other day, he said, "Yeah, man, I saw a bunch of pictures of you online." I'm like, "Well, where are they?" I forgot. I'm like, "What you mean you forgot?"
Damn, that's a
and they're
mess.
online. You click them and get them now. I'm like, what site was it? I remember. And then his memory ain't too good. That's when I haven't spoke to almost 40 years. I was like, oh
well,
man.
you better talk back to him soon. Get back with him real soon, real quick.
I know. There's a couple guys. One guy moved down to Guyana. He was a photographer that used to come around all the time. And another one had moved to California. And my other friend, Gene, he's going to get me in contact because that guy has some real good studio shots.
Really?
I was doing an ab shot in a competition 2 weeks before the other side chest shot that I have.
Yeah.
And I was on stage and I flexed my stomach and I knew I won that show too, even though my friend Gene won it and it was political, like kind of, sort of, you know, but I got him that day. He knows it, but he beat me the other times, edged me out, but I got him that day. That was 2 weeks before this picture you're looking at. And I put my hands behind my head and flexed. And it was like when I was like, letting the air out, I was like smiling, and the lights were coming from above. That shot there, my abdominals, you see it. Like you don't see nothing in this one. But that one there, that was classic. That is one picture I want to have when I'm an old man hanging up on the wall. That one there caught my whole essence. And it was like that was my moment. Now, I don't even care. I'm not even living in the past. I'm just saying, since we're there, you know,
we're reminiscing. We're not living in it.
Yeah. You know. So that's you, like you said, Bluva, just forget them and just live. I never forget that feeling. That was a gift from the Creator to that just for me lets me know how high life can feel.
Right.
Because of those days, I can't give up in anything. It wasn't about muscles though. It was not about muscles. It's knowing that how good you can levitate and flow. And it made me also know those days, for some reason, I wasn't even thinking about it, but I was thinking back just in an abstract way, how connected to nature, how free flowing we are, how our energy is free, and how we're not even supposed to be afraid of death. It's such a light feeling. I never died and came back. I'm just saying that in your spirit, my spirit was so light. Yeah, I was doing crazy, kinky things and seeing things, but when left alone, I was just so pure and light in my spirit.
Right.
I had no venom. I don't have venom now, but you know, we have to deal with things that come our way. And once you get to a point of freedom in your spirit, even if you lose it a little bit because of the demands of life, and now you're a father and you have kids and you're a husband and you're divorced and you got money, you don't have money, and life takes you through those things. If you have just a short period of time in your life when you can experience that lightness of spirit and just being at one with yourself.
Right.
That's it follows you for the rest of your life. You know, so I'm looking at this picture. I'm not even looking at muscles or the circumstances. I'm looking at I'm seeing how I felt. And I want to go back to that.
Sorry for the noise, guys.
Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'm saying I just want to go back to that. It may not even be about the gym or muscles. I'm just saying going back to that feeling.
I know. I understand.
As much as you could in the urban environment of New York City, you know that
right.
that's
No, this is the kind of thing, because a lot of people, you know, when we have these shows and you get to reminisce and go back and look at the chat, people are remembering their their
That's what it's all
childhood
about.
or their high school days or junior high school days, the things that maybe they tucked away deep in the memory, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it gives us all an opportunity to do some recall.
that's right.
It just might put a smile on your face and help you get through your day.
Yeah. Well, you're right though.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about.
exactly. I mean, I never did any bodybuilding, so I ain't got no.
No, but it's not, it might be
I'm messing around.
a person, rode a bike or took long walks or just sat
Yeah,
down by the
took
beach. It
long
doesn't have to
walks.
be this
Yeah,
world is acknowledging me for being this. No, it doesn't. The world doesn't have to acknowledge you as long as you get to that point on the inside.
yeah, yeah.
That's the main thing.
And yeah, Romy, people get to reminisce. For me, I think I'm living my youth now. I really do. I'm living my youth because I grew up.
Well, I'm glad you understand that.
I do understand it. I
It
really
doesn't
do
have to be
because
just, yeah,
when you become a mom and at a certain age and responsibility of life takes you, you know what
right.
I mean? You just have to, for me personally, when I started having children, I just boxed off 18 years. I knew, okay, 18 years was done. And it's not like I only had one child. So
Right.
figure this that you have two, and then you have a huge gap, and then you have two more. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there's never a time when you're not raising children for a long time.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So now,
Because that place of youth is always there.
yeah,
It's not about the age. When we
yeah,
are a certain age, we think that that's what it is, but it's so much more than that.
yeah.
It's a place that never dies. It's a place that
Hmm.
never goes. It's like when people have reunions and they all get together and they forget for a second that it's a reunion. Why
Yes,
do you even have to call it that? My youth is still out there. My youth and those years are still here.
right.
It's there for me to go back to within myself. I don't
Hmm.
even have to go back to New York City to experience that. You
Right.
understand?
Hmm.
I don't have to go back there for that. It's in me. I'm the one who commandeers those memories.
That's right.
And
You
that's what people
know,
have to understand.
and just have to understand that we're forever young. Period.
Yeah, like I said,
Forever.
how can you call yourself old in the tree that was so tall and so strong when you were a child is still sitting there and it was there long
Exactly.
before you?
Hmm. And
The
every
oldest
time.
tree, right? You grew up and this tree didn't even really budge a bit because it's so big. It was already there, and you calling yourself old.
Mhm. Mhm.
How could you do that?
Mhm.
You can't do that.
And if you live in the Northeast or live anywhere where the seasons change, the season change and spring comes back around and it buds out and it's just as vibrant and new as ever before. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right. That's right.
did somebody just get thrown up against the wall? Because
That was my phone. Oh, you hear all that? That was my phone. That was my phone.
I thought
Jumped
I
on the
thought one of
table.
them kids got thrown up against the side.
Nah, nah. That's crazy.
Oh gosh. Mm-mm.
It's crazy.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah. So,
indeed.
but that's the
Well,
thing, though.
yeah.
It's about the feel and everything from the inside. You don't have to live your life according to somebody else's constraints.
Right.
It's the
Right.
worst thing, especially when
Mm-hmm.
you get in these relationships and because this person now, this way you have to be careful who you get around. And it doesn't mean just romantic or dating or married or whatever, but just the energies that are around you. I mean, I've had people in my life early on who certain friends who are very, very limiting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it helped to push me because like, oh, you ain't gonna limit me. I would go out and do more stuff.
Right.
I'd come home like, all right, see you tomorrow. And I'd turn around and go hang out some more. Oh, yeah, because I was mad. I'm like, man, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. We're cool, but
They probably couldn't.
they could. But it was more like a control thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, more like a control thing. Like I haven't decided to do this, so you're not going to do it either. Don't do that to me. Don't think you can get me that way. It ain't going to happen.
You're one of those kids, right? I may be, what is it? I may be sitting on the outside, but I'm standing on the inside. Damn it.
Yeah. No, I would never let nobody limit me like that. No way. No way, Jose. I always had to see what was behind the next door. I always had to see what was around the next corner. You know, if I'm fighting sleep, it was a trick. Something wants me to sleep and not see the next thing that's going to happen the next hour.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's
how you are.
Yeah, I always demanded that of myself. You know, so always. I had to see. Didn't know the internet and didn't know all these little stories are going to come around for you to tell, but that's just the way it is.
Yes, indeed. And we are the lucky ones because we get to enjoy the stories. So,
well, that's nice of you to say, you know. Maybe some people say, well, this guy's crazy. You know, we're not lucky with he's crazy.
No. Well, we know what people call you, you know, because you speak your truth and you speak it often, you know, and there are people who are butthurt because they didn't have those life experiences, you know.
Well, I mean, it's something that we all have something that goes on. We just don't realize it or shroud it in some kind of I don't know, some kind of dysfunctional situation or whatever. It's just the way it is. But you know, we can't knock what we've had and what we, you know, have in this lifetime. Because there's certain things people have gone through that I haven't gone through, and I'm like, wow, I wish I experienced that. But it just doesn't work that way.
Can you give us an example?
I'm just trying to be nice, right? Oh man. What can I say?
You can't be saying stuff like that. You cannot. You know me. You know you're talking to the wrong person when you say that. Because I'll be like, let me ask you a question. Oh God, come on, give us an example.
Well, I mean, you know, I've always here's the photo I was looking for. I found those other two, so I'll share those since we have those up. No, it's just like with me. I had the advantage of growing up as a single child, you know, even though I have a brother who's older than me, 11 years older than me.
Right.
But because he was that much older and okay, what am I doing here? Okay, wait, I know what I'm looking for. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Like I used to love oops, wrong section. Okay, that's why. Yeah. But because of that, I had the advantages of me to have a room to myself, have a room, can leave, no brothers and sisters playing around on my stuff and coming home and getting mad and all of that stuff. I didn't have to worry about those things. Right. Okay, here's this other photo I wanted to put up there. I don't know if you see it. That was 2 weeks before the ones you just saw.
And that's a totally different looking person.
I know. I needed a haircut real bad, but I missed out and I had to go to the show.
This looked like you're even older than the other picture.
I know. But that was a very grainy picture that I had to fix. I didn't add anything. I didn't Photoshop nothing. Trust me.
You have on clothes?
But that was
just wondering. You have on clothes? Just joking.
Well, the only thing you see that's covered is in the front because the thing that I had on was kind of like getting lost in the crack.
That's what I'm noticing.
It was a hot cut. It was just like a string of the front, the string, and a little bit of something in the back. But
right.
At that point, it went its own way. So that was 2 weeks before that. So you see my abdominals were like cobblestones and the serratus and everything like that. So,
right.
And I still didn't hit that shot right. They caught me before I really hit it. And then here's another one from like 2 years before. Yeah, there it is there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's 1980. I was 17. But you got to find me in that one.
Oh, please. That's not difficult. That is not difficult. Absolutely not difficult at all.
Yeah, so I kind of spelled it out right there. A lot of those guys, like, wow, a lot of those guys are gone now.
And that's something.
Yeah. The one I speak about all the time, Junior, he's the one next to me. Like, he's you see, I'm second from the right standing up. There's another guy with these thick eyebrows who's behind me, who has his hand in my face, kind of, even though he's in front of me. That's Junior. Yeah, that's Junior.
Okay.
Neighborhood. Family to me. And I got a lot of stories about him. Good stories, you know. He's an ex-Marine. He was like a workaholic, and he could do so many things with his hands, like fixing things, building things. He could never stop. He always had this energy about him. He would get up 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, you know.
Is he the one that had his own little gym after a while?
Yeah. Right down the block from Kevin. Right. 3 away from me. And then he went and got the gym on Liberty Avenue, right there on 131st Street. And that's the one we worked on it, because it used to be an old bakery with an old brick oven. I mean, where the bricks were like so many bricks deep. And we had a sledgehammer in the summer of '79 and bust this thing out. I mean, a whole bunch of us. We go up there. He'd feed us and keep us hydrated, but we basically just like gave ourselves to get this thing done. And it was fabulous. Yeah, it was fabulous. He passed away in 2006.
Right.
And even then, it was like too soon. Even though he was 66 years old, he was in fabulous shape. But he came in.
When did he pass?
2006.
Oh, 2006. Okay.
Yeah. I think he came in from the hot sun and then jumped into this cold jacuzzi or something like that and had a heart attack, I think it was.
Oh my God, are you serious?
He was fit, but that reaction can happen.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. And it was a shock because he wasn't like he was a typical 66, year, whatever that means. But he was in great shape. He never stopped bodybuilding, but he was never a big guy,
Wow.
And that was next to him up there. I was 17.
And that's something.
Yeah, so that's and as I get these old magazines and old photos, I put up and tell you the stories behind them.
Yeah. We would love to hear them. Absolutely. I can't wait for you to be able to find that find those magazines.
Oh yeah, I know them by cover already. I just have to buy them because like now there's such collector's editions, not because of me. I just happen to have a couple photos in them.
Right.
But they're like all 15, 20, 40, 50 bucks and whatnot. It's no problem because I know the ones that I'm in. And interviews and stuff like that. So you get a different.
And what's the name of these magazines? Muscle Magazine,
Muscle Train Illustrated, Muscle Up, Muscle this. It's a bunch of Muscle Digest, Muscle things that are not even around right now. But I'm going to find the sites and some of them. There's some that have some really good shots though. Person who covered that content, that one you just saw, that's just some personal picture, or whatever, from somebody.
Right.
And I had a lot of people in the audience that gave me a lot, but then I had a lot of good photos with girls. Can I have that one, Lance? Can I? And you're like, yes, I'm gonna look like this forever. So I'm gonna give this to you. You know what I mean? not realizing you give that one photo away. It's not like
that's it.
You can right click and just share it around to everybody. You just you're giving away your youth.
And sometimes you have to keep recalling these episodes and talking about it on shows because you just never know what day somebody from your past might bump into your channel. Hear the story and be like, wait a minute, my mom had those pictures, or I still have those pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, there are places that we traveled all up and down the East Coast, all in Pennsylvania. like different competitions that, you know, we did all right in. Some we didn't win, some we got a trophy, some we didn't get a trophy. But it's a whole brotherhood, man. It's a whole lot of people's lives that we run across. And I don't know if I told you about the time when, what was it now? We were, I came back at the airport. I came back to visit New York City, and I was either heading back or wasn't time for the flight. We're walking around, and I hear this guy call to me. Oh my God, LanceScurv. And I turned around. I didn't see nobody except a cop. Who's calling me? I turned back around again because it couldn't be the cop. You don't know me. Oh, white cop. LanceScurv. I turned around.
And it was the cop.
Running up. But he wasn't saying it like, LanceScurv, we're going to arrest you. He's like, oh my God, Lance. And I wasn't that deep in the internet stuff already.
Right.
I could have never thought of that. So he's like, Lance, you just don't know. I've got your picture on my wall. He was younger than me, a little younger than me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I think he's like about 5 years younger than me, 5 or 6 years younger, but he didn't look good at all. You know, he didn't age good at all.
Oh no.
And he's like, I cannot believe this. Maybe they don't think, maybe you're not Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe you're not this guy, but don't you remember when you were, let me see, what was the high school in Long Island? Plainview? I'm not sure, but it was somewhere around Central Islip.
I wouldn't even know.
I'm going to find out the name of the high school, but it was 1982, and it was in June or July. And I went to this competition out there. And he was in the audience. He was like a little 13 or 14-year-old. And I did a little routine. I went into the teenage division. I didn't win it. My friend Mike Scott, you know, he won it.
Right.
He beat me behind, but he had a better body anyway. But see, when you're close like that, you can say that. Like, it's not like, oh, I can beat. No, we loved each other. We're friends. He beat me 10 times out of 10 times. I got a trophy out of it, though, in the teenage division, but he won it. And then I went into the open division for the hell of it. All I wanted to do was just be able to pose a second time, even though I was going up against the grown men and was going to get my butt kicked. So it was out in Long Island. And one of the songs I used, because, okay, if I was in the city, in the borough, I would have used regular, you know, hip hop music or whatever, but I was around the white boys. So I said, okay, I picked Queen, another one bites the dust.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I did a little routine with that. I made it up on the spot. I was good with choreography and stuff. And then for the second one, I came out to Ali Boombaye. You know, Ali Boombaye, Ali Boombaye. So when it was saying Ali Boombaye, I came out shadowboxing. And I can shadowbox real good because I like boxing. I used to train.
Right.
And then when the time to hit the shot, boom, I was doing it. And they were like, oh, shit, you know. And that's what made him remember me like that.
Right.
And he snapped these pictures. And I remember, you know, he told me. And he didn't have any on him because he didn't know he was going to run into me. But he also came backstage and took some photos with me. I had my arm around him. He told me this. And,
oh, wow.
And I was all flexed up. He said, man, your abs were friggin' incredible. Because I wasn't no big guy, but to a little kid like that. And it was a cop. And I forgot something. But they were like, yo, so you really did do that thing. And the guy's like, yeah, man. This guy, you know, he's a kid, so he's going to amp it up. Man, he's a superstar. Man, he's my idol. Man, I used to follow you in the magazines and everything. And I wonder what happened to you. I said, I stopped, man, you know. Oh man, you stop. You gotta come back. Like, listen, buddy. In my mind, it's like you dreaming now. I like it, but you know, life happens.
Right. Oh, Indigo King is on the hunt, Lance.
I'm gonna come up with a little list of things, and I know I was in Muscle and Fitness, not a picture, but it was in early 83. there's a picture of Rachel McClish and Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover. And the reason why I ended up in that magazine, it was a few words. My name is in that magazine. And Rick Wayne was walking around. It was the Nationals, but I wasn't in that Nationals. That was for the grown men. That was actually a week before that picture I always put up. Between the two pictures you saw, it was that was the 2nd of October.
Oh,
The other
okay.
one was the 5th of September. The other one was October 9th and 10th. But Rick Wayne saw me in the couples competition and he gave me a little interview. And I was joking a lot. I didn't take it serious. I didn't know he put the microphone up under the little recorder in my mouth. And I said, man, next year I'm going to come back. I'm going to win this thing. I said, I have better moves. And there's a guy named John Brown who used to be this really smooth poser. But he had a better body because he was drugged up and all that stuff. Not just that, but he had a better body. He was known. He was a national competitor. I said, I'm going to make John Brown look like a robot. And I said, he don't want me to drug up, but if I did, I'd blow him away if I did. But I didn't say I was taking drugs. And people took it that, Lance, you said you were taking drugs. Nah, I was just saying it. I was hyped. It was Rick Wayne. Rick Wayne is a famous bodybuilder in the bodybuilding culture. You're not gonna he's not a household name, but he was one of the original guys who he was there in the early days. Columbo, Schwarzenegger, all these guys, and he underrated body. But he black man from was it not Barbados? One of the small islands, but he went back to the small island there because he was writing for the bodybuilding magazines. They ain't paying him no money. So he went back there. He was more concerned politically with his country, and he was very influential in the media down there. Because I saw stuff. He's much older now. And I know he has a tremendous sense of recall. I'm gonna reach out to him one day. There's a lot of people I know
one day
were up. Well, yeah, soon. once I settle in a couple weeks, I'm gonna start reaching out to some of these people. Wayne D'Amelia, he's another one who I know very, very well.
Right.
Remember I showed you Junior in the picture. He was work along with Junior on his job for tax reasons. He would never be at the job, right? He would never be at the job because he was already had lots of money. But he was like, okay, this is what Uncle Sam is gonna get. And so he was the guy that had Junior pick up the big top name bodybuilders in bodybuilding then to come to a show the night of the champions. So because of that proximity, I got a chance to meet the top in the world. You understand? So he was on let me I'm gonna drop this link so you can listen to the old stories and realize a lot of the things that I say, it's not like made up or whatever. That we used to rub elbows with these guys. But yeah, Wayne, here it is now. I'm gonna put this. I want to get him on this show so he can tell you about me when I was a kid. Okay. And when you listen to this interview, you'll be so caught up because he's so colorful. He tells the story so well. And here you go.
Drop it a couple times because I had just put those 2 other links.
Yeah.
You don't want it to get too lost.
Yeah. Listen to this with an open mind, but realize that this guy and me are like, if he sees me now, it's like, Lance, what's going on? You know, we go back with Junior in Junior's basement. He would tell us the things about the bodybuilders behind the scenes and things you're not going to hear in the magazines. This is back in the 70s. And when I was just getting into it, even before, he was there. And to hear him speak these stories, even after we were in contact, you know, but we'll always be like that. So I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to get him on the show and we're going to talk like we're talking now. And that's probably going to be a 6-hour show.
Oh, wow.
This guy can talk. Wayne D'Amelia. Yeah, Wayne D'Amelia. He pretty much got really high on the IFBB and there's a lot of politics and stuff. You all need to say this is a really interesting thing. And this is like my DNA going back. Even though he's a white man, Italian man, he's mad cool. This guy, like I said, from when I was a teenager, you know,
right.
And I think he's in his 70s now, you know, so I know a little few things about him that I won't put out there, you know what I mean? But, you know, because I know him like that. But yeah, I've just been blessed that any little thing I've ever gotten into, I've always got to meet the industry top people or whatever.
Right.
It just ended up that way. I mean, look at it. I'm sitting here one day at the layover, and Star from Star and Book Wild reaches out to me, and we have a friendship now.
Right.
You know, it's amazing how, you know, I'm chilling out one day and I look on my Twitter and I see Judge Joe Brown follows me, and I'm like, nah, this can't be the real one. And the next day we're on the phone doing an interview. It's just crazy.
And that's something.
Yeah. And then when I think about, I could name drop stuff from connections through my father back in the day, names that you just didn't pay no mind, but later you're like, wow, you know, it's amazing.
Right. That's too bad they didn't have a little clip of you on this thing, you know?
On which one? Oh, Wait a Million?
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, that was mostly about his dealings with professional bodybuilders and stuff like that. So I was just a little kid back then and coming up. And like I said, he was the one who was instrumental in getting my artwork in the schedule, what do you call it there? For the program.
Oh,
for,
okay.
The Night of the Champions. Yeah. I think it was 80. No, it was 1980. It was 1980. 80 and 82, where he took a full page and put Junior's logo for his T-shirt, which I drew, and he put it in the thing. You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you were to get a Night of the Champions program from 1980, 82, you'll see my artwork, and I think I have my name written in there like that. Most people would say, well, how did you do that? It's just at right place, right time.
Right.
That's just because he saw the sign that I did for the gym. And it's like, hey, man, we could use that. You know, yeah, we could put on a T-shirt. And he used it to advertise the gym. And it was more like a favor, you know, because, you know, sometimes you have programs for certain things and say, oh, we got like 14 more slots left. And nobody buys them. So, okay, come on, I'll put this in for free. Because this is Buddy.
Oh, wow.
And it let me know how like business works, not just because of an ad, but it makes me see from those days to see your work out there and how things go, and you hear the inner circle things. And now we have the internet. So this is why for me, after, and I'm gonna wrap it up soon, but after
this is really something.
After so many years of getting a sneak peek into this world and a sneak peek into that world, now I'm finally able to, you know, after divorcing and raising kids and, you know, losing your parents, and right now at 58 and change, I'm like such a kid, like 18 years old, just out of high school. For me, that's the way it is. I mean, I just feel so like this is finally my time. Not that I felt held back, but you know, you get all caught up in life, and it's like,
of course.
Right now, I just want quiet, pure, creative time to share ideas, create stuff, and start stuff. We have so much ability and power to start new things, and we don't realize it because our minds are keeping us back, or we think that we're limited. And even if we don't consciously think that, a lot of us think that. Well, what's to stop you from writing a book? What's to stop you from meeting up with some people who are throwing an event, and you can contribute something that you know that's of value to this event?
Exactly.
We'll think, well, I don't know, I'm not good enough. I can't. It's always the next person. Look at this guy on the thing here, The Baby, a rapper, The Baby. What is he rapping about that we who have lived on this earth for so long can't talk about and teach him some things? You see what I mean? A lot of times we got to really see how powerful we are, that we can't just always give it up because we think that somebody else has some hookup or they have some ability. No, damn it, I'm the shit. Excuse my French. You're the shit. Everybody in the chat room here is the shit. We got something inside of us that's valuable for the world, but we got to be confident enough to know that we got that thing and can launch it, because if not, time is going to go by and we're going to be buried and it's not going to happen.
That's
so you know what? That's why I say, and I've been itching, and you know the timeline of things going on. I'm almost there. And when I get there, and it's not putting nothing off, because you know what, you know, certain things are concrete.
Put anything off.
Right. Once that happens, it's an everyday thing. I'm expanding beyond what anybody could ever think. And like I said, because of responsibilities, and you're living in this country and you project this, you got to realize, like I said too, we haven't missed a beat with the show. And come November, we would have been living out of suitcases for the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Check that out.
Exactly.
How gangster is that? We've been ever since we, and I'm not saying just suitcases, because we live by in-laws and family, and we're in this little cramped apartment right now. So, and you know, there's things going on, and I showed you the picture of where I am right now, and people won't believe it. One day I'll put it out there for the world to say, you do, yeah,
Yep.
but you don't lose your sight of what you have to do.
Exactly.
So when finally, I can get it the way I want it. I'm knocking out people with my weak hand without training. So what happens without training and I use my strong hand?
You see what I mean? Everybody out.
But we have to know that, though.
Yeah.
You see, a lot of us don't know that. And a lot of people around us will see that in us and not want us to know it.
They don't
want us to know it.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
It's the job of people sometimes that plant themselves in your life. You ain't gonna see your potential. I see how great it is. And I'm gonna work overtime to make sure it's not there. And they feel rotten for being that way. But so now I'm free. I mean, I am free. Almost there.
All right.
And I'm telling you. So that's why I'm enthusiastic.
All right.
I'm like that kid that don't want to go to sleep.
I know. You gotta go to sleep. you got to go to sleep. You got a big day tomorrow. Come on. Oh my God.
So we'll wrap this thing down. I'm sorry to take over your show like this, but
listen, it's my show when you're my guest. So this is what you do, you know.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
That's what everybody, you know, when people hear us and they say, well, how come he's always doing the talking? Well, it's you see the title, you know, and I guess this time he put his name in the tiny LanceScurv.com thing at the bottom. But see,
yeah, they know it's me there. I don't have to,
you know, but he's always my guest. That's what it is. My perpetual guest.
Perpetual guest, right? So a couple of weeks, we're going to start doing some call-ins and have some actual, we have people that want to actually come in and show their face. We'll do that later on. But we're going to talk about something later on and do something later on. And, you know, I'm going to give him a call. I'm going to give him a call and see when we can get him back on. Maybe we get him on later on tonight. I thought about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give him a call. Matter of fact, I'm going to give him a call after we get off. So y'all keep reminding me, but I'm going to make sure that, let him flow.
Okay.
Give him little 5 or 6 hour shows. Like, listen, man, just cut up. Just take your time. That. Yeah. So.
And who is this? I'm too real. Well, good morning or grand rising to you. You know.
Yeah. I'll let you have the final words. I'm the guest, but I'll let you have the final words.
Let me have the final words. Oh gosh. Well, today is Monday, the beginning of the work week. I know a lot of us, we're like, oh God, why, please? But you know what? That's why we're here in the mornings, and we're going to try to make it our business to be here every rising so that we can take the edge off the beginning of your work day, and just try to uplift you as much as we can, so stay positive, stick around with us. Yes, indeed. Stick with us. We'll give you some sunshine in the morning, even if it's cloudy outside. So
that's so sweet.
Go ahead and have a blessed day, everyone. And listen, freedom of speech is our right, but be careful what you speak anyway. You know what I'm saying? Know why you're saying it.
How to use it against you.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
And how you frame it. That's right.
There you go. So, Brother Lance.
Yes, my dear sister.
Sir Lance. I do appreciate having you on my show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Please come back.
Of course. Where am I going? I have a ball every time we're fired up. So,
Thank you, Sister Rena. Thank you so much. And I'm always happy when you get a chance to bless the chat with your presence. Thank you so much. Queen Murat, thank you. Love you, Yvonne. Love you, Romy. Love you, every single person that is here. We appreciate you all.
Wow.
Yes.
You're like the person in school, like that school aide who's always so
Oh
nice.
God.
Always back. You know what I mean? Cookie money. Here you
Oh, I
go,
can't
baby.
forget Yvonne and Synovia. Oh my God, girls. Sorry, I didn't want to forget you. And Indigo King. You know, if I start this, what's gonna happen? But
Go
these
ahead,
are
roll it.
and Beatrice. These are the diehards. They've been here. They have spoken up. They've contributed to the chat.
Yes.
Blue Velvet, good to have you. You know, and everyone else that's still hanging around that I can't scroll any further for the names.
Right.
But you know, I thank you
Hmm.
all for being here, and we'll see you, you know, creator willing and all goes well. We'll see
Yes.
you here again on the rise.
Definitely.
All
Definitely. All
right.
right, sweetheart. So we're gonna make that happen. We're gonna be back
Yes,
later on.
sir.
I'm not sure exactly what time, but we're gonna come on and have some more fun later on. I'm gonna give Brother Ice a call and see if we can get him on, and we'll see how that rolls. And we'll be back on every single day, and tomorrow again, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tonight we haven't fixed the time, but we'll be on. And
Yes.
have a wonderful day,
Have
and
a
we'll be right
wonderful day. Yes, indeed. Take care.
on. All right. Take care, sweetheart.